All right, good. So, your kids versus your spouse. Kids versus your spouse. Should you pick your kids over your spouse? Logic says, not logic per se. That's not logic. Common sense says, pick your kids over your spouse, especially if you have any type of experience in this life. That means you probably don't collect shege from somebody.
Sorry, yo.
Common sense would tell you to pick your kids over your spouse. Okay, and by the way, you might have married women, sort of like Mary Unjoku, that may even tell you that's the right thing to do. Just look at them sideways and say, okay, thank you, auntie. Let's get back to logic, actual logic. Logic is not logic if you discount emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is part of logic. Anybody who discounts emotional intelligence is not a logical person. Okay, they are not a critical thinker. Okay, so in that respect, if you understand the idea of a family unit or a virtual family unit, in case you've gone through divorce before, as long as there's no criminal behavior on anybody's part, it's just that it did not work, right? In that case, there is small love that flows to the kids when you maintain a united front with your spouse or your ex-spouse. You have to maintain a united front because they feel that love and it helps them in their life. So overall, you end up delivering more value to those kids and especially yourself, because then you don't tamper with your own soft life over a long period of time. In the short period of time, it feels, because when you're coming from a place of hurt, it feels like you should protect yourself. The reality is that you can only protect yourself with social emotional intelligence, self-awareness, power intelligence, the power of seduction, the heart of seduction, right? That's the only way to protect yourself. The idea of protecting yourself with police and all this pragmatic stuff, seizing paperwork and then hiding and trying to control the other person, all this craziness you bring into your world, calling the in-laws, extended family on your situation, is just going to make matters worse for yourself. There's some things you need to learn. It starts with self-awareness, self-empowerment, self-esteem, self-love, self-respect. If you can't give at this level I'm talking about, it's because you're not giving enough to yourself. Okay? You've lost yourself. The first step is to regain yourself and your own power back. Okay? So that's the first lesson that we learned today. The other lesson is this. Everybody gets to do themselves. We're having a conversation in the backstage earlier on, and somebody said, I should speak to some things. There's some B4 ideology. I said, I don't speak to ideology. Anybody can do any ideology they want. I consider Auntie Yabo's ideology, I don't want marriage as an ideology. I can't argue with her. She gets to do what she wants as an adult. Okay? But I expanded the conversation a little bit beyond that. Right? There's some things that are much more powerful left unsaid. Right? You don't need to shoot yourself on the legs just in case this man will fall in love extra and decide he wants marriage, but now he's scared because you've been running your mouth that you don't want marriage. Calm down. You need the structure. You need the institution. But the institution is useless if you don't learn the skills to make it work, like in any other institution. So you cannot blame the institution. Also, if you're operating from a place of fear, you will shoot yourself on the legs just by operating. So, and I know we do that naturally. If you've gone through some experience, you just operate from a place of fear in efforts to protect yourself. I get it. I completely get it. But you got to think a little bit beyond that. You got to think a little bit deeper. Critical thinking with a very nice dose of emotional intelligence before you make some of this assertion that comes from where we all come from, common sense. Common sense, they collect woto on this platform. It just doesn't work because we all have it, and clearly it's not working for most people. You have to have some critical thinking with emotional intelligence. All right. The second thing for the Boda Japa story, Japa is the context. Okay, context does matter. Okay, but certain context will expose the problem in your marriage. Okay, there was problem in your marriage already. Japa does not create marriage problems. It exposes the problems in the marriage. Okay, so and when it makes sense for you to try the idea of controlling the types of friendship your wife or your spouse go with, you will shoot yourself on the legs. Okay. If you are that good of a spouse, a husband, a wife, you're the best friend. If you're not the best friend, work on that. Take your focus away from the other friendship. You will push your spouse away to them. So you will make the problem bigger than what it was in the first place. But shout out to all of you. I appreciate all of you. Hopefully you guys have been enlightened. Shout out to Misty, who came in last minute. You can watch the replay. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll drop a ton of video tomorrow. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.